In a statement by future German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, we heard that Germany is not only not changing course in its migration policy related to returning illegal migrants to neighboring countries, but will be tightening it. Friedrich Merz seems to have kept his word from his election campaign, because then he said that not only what we define as expulsion at the border, but those who have asked for asylum in Germany will also be expelled. This is absolutely groundbreaking. Confirmation of Merz's words can be found in the document of the agreement between coalition partners, CDU, CSU, and SPD. We will turn back migrants at common borders in coordination with our European neighbors, even in the case of asylum requests. We want to take all measures under the rule of law to reduce illegal immigration. There will be deportations, there will be denial of asylum, there will be denial of entry into Germany, and there will be massive border controls, which means that we can expect not only a wave of economic migrants that the Germans will try to bring across the Polish border, but we will also face various crisis situations at the border itself. The actions of the German authorities are aimed at sending back migrants from Germany, even the migrants previously invited by Angela Merkel, in every possible way through pushbacks, through Dublin procedures, and ultimately through the Migration Pact. It seems to me that the government is not in control of this situation at all. It seems that no one is controlling it. We as MPs don't even know how this will be carried out and whether it will be effective. If these pushbacks happen, we don't know where these migrants are sent, and then what actually happens to them. Most of Germany's neighboring countries oppose such a policy, including Austria. Austria has rejected plans by the CDU, CSU, and SPD coalition to turn back asylum seekers at the border. Austria will not accept these people, the Interior Ministry in Vienna told the DPA news agency. Austria, through the voice of its newly appointed Interior and Administration Minister, says unequivocally no. Meanwhile, the Polish government remained silent. A demonstration was held in Słubica on Saturday against the lack of response by the Prime Minister and ministers to the immigration threat coming from our Western neighbor. I think this will escalate for the reason that the decisions of the German government, unfavorable from the Polish point of view, are coming in a big way. We again asked the Polish Ministry of Interior and Administration questions about Poland's position on Germany's policy of returning immigrants to neighboring countries. The ministry has remained silent.
A coup is underway in Romania, according to George Simon, chairman of the AUR party, the second largest force in the Romanian parliament, and vice president of the European Conservatives and Reformists. Yesterday, the Central Electoral Office refused to register Călin Georgescu, a presidential candidate fielded by the right-wing AUR party. Georgescu has already won the first round of the elections once, last November. After his victory, the authorities cancelled the second round and decided to redo the entire election. Thus, the world is asking, is Romania still a democratic country? Romanian citizens loudly expressed their anger. Protesters tried to enter the headquarters of the Central Electoral Office. When police repelled the assault, the rioting moved to neighboring streets. Bottles, firecrackers, and even stones were thrown at the heavily armed officers. Bonfires were lit in the middle of the street of this European capital, all in defense of democracy, threatened by the authoritarian measures from the authorities. The Central Electoral Office has invalidated the candidacy of Călin Georgescu for president of the country under the pretext of inconsistencies between his actual income and his tax return. As recently as Saturday, Romania's Constitutional Court dismissed complaints against Georgescu's candidacy, and for several hours, it seemed that the democratic process would proceed according to the will of the people. Sunday's decision to cancel Georgescu's candidacy is most likely the result of pressure from European Union bureaucrats. US Vice President J.D. Vance spoke about this in Munich a month ago.
Now, I was struck that a former European commissioner went on television recently and sounded delighted that the Romanian government had just annulled an entire election.
Mamy do czynienia z takim układem partii, które
We are dealing with an arrangement of parties that are only nominally different from each other. That is the left and the right. In the case of Romania, it is the Christian Democrats and the Social Democrats. But when this duopoly is threatened, they team up to eliminate this threat. Evidently, Călin Georgescu threatened this duopoly. Călin Georgescu could win this election, and for this duopoly, that would be like flipping the political table. Outside this political duopoly is the conservative party AUR, which is working with Poland's Law and Justice in the European Parliament under the European Conservatives and Reformers. In the repeat elections, they support the candidacy of Călin Georgescu and are organizing a movement to restore democracy in Romania.
We are in an ongoing coup d'etat. And the last episode was yesterday when they rejected the candidacy of Mr. Georgescu without any reason. We will continue to fight. We have the support of the people. So we want to reach free elections. We will need today, Monday, and throughout the week, the help of our international friends who believe in the free world, who believe in democracy, and who believe in free elections. I just met with Mr. Georgescu. We made the plan to rejoin democracy, to get to free elections peacefully. So please help us in order to be there. Greetings, and hopefully we will have once again a democratic Romania.
Călin Georgescu announced that he will file a complaint to the Constitutional Court against his removal from the electoral list. He asked supporters to refrain from violence. I thank the Romanian people for everything they are doing. But I ask you again, everyone in silence, everyone in peace. We should not incite violence or other things like we did last night. Let us move forward with confidence in the future of this country. A week ago, there were hundreds of thousands of people on the streets of Bucharest marching peacefully, demanding respect for their civic rights and respect for democracy. They are determined and have no intention of giving up democracy in Romania.
Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, the perfect neutral ground for talks between the United States and Ukraine. A breakthrough could happen here tomorrow, saving millions of Ukrainian civilians who are brutally attacked every day by the criminal Russian regime.
It'll be Ukraine. We'll see if we can get something done. I'd like to get something done. A lot of people died this week, as you know, in Ukraine. Not only Ukrainians, but Russians. So I think everybody wants to see it get done. We're going to make a lot of progress, I believe, this week.
Mr. Secretary!
Donald Trump's closest staff members, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, have flown out to Saudi Arabia. The Ukrainian leader is on site as well.
And attack the administration that is trying to...
Vladimir Zelensky squandered his first choice of a truce in the Oval Office by adopting an antagonistic tone.
During the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
I'm not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of
war.
millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you.
Now the Americans are reaching out to Kiev for the last time. As Donald Trump says, there won't be another chance. And peace in Ukraine will certainly not be guaranteed by the European political establishment, who who have neither a plan nor the military capability to stop the Kremlin's imperial ambitions. This proposed solution is actually a kind of strong Ukrainian-American alliance, shifting these existing relations to a completely different level, causing the United States to sit firmly in this key area, which is important for American security, Polish security, but also obviously for Ukraine itself. The Ukrainians are ready to sign a ceasefire agreement, but are counting on the Americans to once again start supplying them with military equipment and intelligence, which the administration in Washington has recently ceased.
They are trying to recover after that disastrous meeting that President Volodymyr Zelensky had in the Oval Office last month that descended into an argument between him, President Donald Trump, and Vice President J.D. Vance. They're looking to sign, likely in the coming weeks, a rare earths mineral deal that the Trump administration had sought, and the Ukrainians are likely really hoping to turn back on American military aid as well as American intelligence sharing to counter the Russians.
The Americans see participation in the mining of Ukrainian rare earth metals as compensation for the military aid already given to Ukraine. This would also be a form of security guarantee for Kyiv, and it should be in Volodymyr Zelensky's interest to reach a ceasefire as soon as possible. If the Americans actually get what they want from the Ukrainians, that is, access to these rare earth metals, the interests of large American corporations will be enough incentive for any American administration to have a sizable US force nearby that will be able to secure these US corporate interests in case of an emergency. The American presence in this strategic area would mean one thing: Putin would not dare fire a single missile where the Americans are, as he would bitterly regret it. Neither Paris, nor Berlin, nor London, nor Brussels can give the Ukrainians that kind of guarantee.
This is happening. The problem is there's a gap between the Europeans realizing this, making it happen, and the lifeline that Ukraine has under more deleterious circumstances. That gap is ultimately the crucial question as to whether Ukraine can hold out.
But it's not too late to sign an agreement, call a truce, and save Ukraine's most vulnerable citizens. These are not shooting stars. This is what it looked like when the Starlink satellites flew over Poznan. There are about 7,000 of them in all of space. These are communication satellites, which are broadband for internet data exchange. With this number of 7,000 satellites, the constellation has a global coverage, that is, anywhere on Earth. If we have the right antenna, this internet is available to us. The Starlink system has supported the Ukrainian military since nearly the beginning of the war. First of all, it facilitates communication. Starlink is now crucial for all critical state services, energy or communications. It is used by military personnel to contact their families as well as each other. Importantly, it's a system that ensures a secure flow of information. As far as hacking attacks are concerned, there is no information about the Russians succeeding in launching a successful attack on Starlinks. Without Starlinks, they would have had very serious communications problems, as the Russians have repeatedly carried out cyber attacks on conventional communication systems. The first phase of the war in Ukraine involved neutralizing the network of satellites that enabled the troops to communicate. The Starlink network of satellites guarantees that this communication will be maintained. However, the usefulness of the Starlink system does not end there. The Ukrainian military is also expected to use Starlinks to link drones with artillery in order more effectively to detect and eliminate Russian units. It helps us to adjust even the cannon artillery. We can see the target and we can even hit those much further away. What if Ukraine did not have the ability to use the Starlink system? Ukrainians would have very big problems with communicating on the front line, and in war, communication is a fundamental element. Without it, there will be very big problems. Elon Musk has said such a situation would not happen. I am simply stating that without Starlink, the Ukrainian lines will collapse as the Russians can jam all other lines of communications. We would never do such a thing or use it as a bargaining chip. Despite this statement, the European Union is in talks with France's Eutelsat about a potential replacement for the Starlink system in Ukraine. These needs will be served in some 60 to 70% in terms of network capacity. Unfortunately, Eutelsat does not have such a large satellite fleet, such a developed network, and therefore has some limitations in terms of the number of terminals that can be serviced. And it is mainly business-oriented and therefore much more expensive.